Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's Tuesday Leadership Tip. I know it's been slow out there in the dealership world recently. Traffic is down, employees are feeling the stress, you have the pressure of trying to hit your numbers. It's easy to get frustrated, down, and let it affect your mood. I feel you, I get that. In fact, earlier this year, I had a relationship that didn't pan out. And then when I started going to the gym even harder, one happy place after that, I tore my shoulder. And I'll admit, I got into a funk. I struggled. The problem is that negative effect didn't just affect me, but the people around me as well. And the same goes for you as a manager. You are the one who sets the emotional climate of your team. One of the penalties of leadership is all eyeballs are always watching you and you set the tone. If you're upbeat, odds are your team will follow. But if you're down, glass half empty, or upset, odds are your team is going to follow that too. So, how do you try and stay above the fray, especially in times like this, when there's legitimate reasons to be frustrated or down? Well, gratitude. Let me repeat that, gratitude. And I'll admit, I struggle with this concept. You hear the things, start your day talking about 3 things you're happy about, or create a journal and write down all the things you're proud of or thankful for at the end of the day. Um, yeah, I'm not much of that type, but here's the thing. Research shows it works. In one study, they found journaling gave you a 25% higher level of happiness, better sleep, increased exercise frequency, and in another, they found that when you show gratitude, you're literally rewiring your brain. That changes the pathways in your brain that give you dopamine and grow the hypothalamus, which regulates your stress levels. But here's the problem. We sometimes forget how good we really have it. Even on our worst days, when you think about it, we have so much to be thankful for. And let me actually, just share with you a couple thoughts on that, where I had some experiences that really affected me. I was heading to an airport once, and I went to the ticket machine to spit out my boarding pass, and I couldn't get it to work. I kept trying and it's not working, it's not spitting out. So I flagged this attendant down. I'm like, please help me. I am really close to boarding. I've got to get on this plane. It's very important. And she helps and she looks and she goes, actually, you booked this ticket for next Friday. Oh, panic. So I'm racing to the counter. I'm trying to buy another ticket. Well, at this point, this is back in the day, you had change fees. My change fee didn't even cover my cost of my original ticket. I had to spend another, God knows what, on a last second ticket. And then the woman's trying behind the counter to furiously get the ticket spit out, but because I had some issues with my old ticket, she couldn't do it. And I'm thinking, I'm going to spend all this money and I'm going to miss my flight. So I am freaking out. I grab the ticket. I'm sprinting to the security. I actually got in the pilot line just to race through security. And of course, you know how it is. I have the last possible gate at the airport. So I am racing to that gate and I can see them and they're shutting the door and I'm screaming, don't shut the door. Don't shut the door. I'm coming. And I get on that plane and I'm exasperated. And I sit down and I'm in my plane and I'm hyperventilating and my stress levels are through the roof. I take a deep breath and I grab my USA Today that I had gotten from the hotel that morning. And what happens? I flip open the USA Today, just randomly flip it open, and there is an article and it's talking about this refugee camp. And it's talking about how the refugees are trying to escape and trying to get to a better place. And they're interviewing this 17-year-old that was in the hospital at this refugee camp because he got hit in the head with a rubber bullet as he was trying to just get to his brother who lives in somewhere in Europe. And his parents send him off on his own. Find your brother. And he's in this refugee camp now, all alone at 17. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm just sitting there going, this kid would trade places with me in a heartbeat. I remember when I was 17, I can't even fathom going through something like this. And everything about the ticket and the extra cost and all of that just washed away in a second. Like, this is ridiculous that it's laughable that I'm even upset about something like this when people have such greater issues that they're dealing with day in and day out. And I think, There's a lot of days that we take some of the stuff that we've got here, living in America, being where we're at, um, where it could be much, much worse. There's literally billions of people on the planet that would trade places with us in a heartbeat, even on our worst day. So the gratitude thing. My challenge to you is to, whether you journal it, write it down, whether you at dinner talk to your spouse, hey, this is what I'm happy for. This is what I really appreciate. And we don't think about this stuff. My mom, you know, she's still around. She's dealing with her health issues, but every day that she's here, I need to be thankful because there's gonna be a day she's not here. And sometimes I do take that for granted. And you think about just the little things that we have in our lives that we just goes right over our head day after day after day after day. So stop, savor, take a pause, and then build your employees to do the same. Because beyond just it feels good and you get the warm and fuzzies, here's a stat. If somebody is in a positive mental state, they sell 38% more than somebody who's in a negative state or even neutral. So think about all your employees, those ones that they're not even upset, they're not down, they're not frustrated, they're just coming in flat. It's another day at the office. They're getting crushed by that person who's in the positive mental state. So if you can bring your team up, can you imagine selling 38% more this year than you sold last year? What a competitive advantage that would give you. And it's all about, you are the steward, as Dr. Henry Cloud would say, you are the steward of the emotional climate of your team as the leader. If you can build that climate, starting with you inside here and then branching out to the rest of your team, boy, you'll have some powerful results. So, thank you for watching. Good luck this week, and be thankful and have some gratitude. Take care.